Welcome to Capital Games. I'm your host, Sam Rectima, discussing 12, breaking down the Juan Soto contract, both perspectives from athlete perspective and business. And Carlos, from his perspective as well. Carlos, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, brother
Absolutely,
Sam.
yes.
Appreciate you always,
Yes,
and
yes.
appreciate your audience as well. For tuning in, listening to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yes, episode 12, discussing the Juan Soto contract. Let's get right into it. I wanted to bring you on because we talk about business and money a lot, and sports. We connected through basketball, and the Juan Soto contract is the biggest contract that's ever been signed. 15 years, $765 million. And you actually know Juan Soto. So,
yes.
I wanted to bring you on and we could talk about this contract and also kind of talk about sports contracts in general and why an athlete gets paid the way that they do, and from the owner's perspective, why they would want to invest in an athlete like that as well. So let's give us a quick little background about your experience with Juan Soto and your thoughts about this contract.
Okay, I'm businessman Carlos. Thank you for introducing me as well. I've been blessed, bro, that my family, I come from a business family, and my grandmother, she bought a home. She bought it, like, you could say, like 20 years ago, mansion in Dominican Republic. And guess who then bought a home right next to my grandmother when he got his first, deal? Because remember, they were signed. He was signed. Juan Soto is 26, right? He was signed when he was 16.
Wow, okay.
Right? So he first got his money, because in Dominican Republic, they got camps, baseball camps, right? Where they have, the athletes, upcoming athletes that they're very talented. So they'll bring them to these camps. They'll be like, I don't want to call it jail, but they'll sleep there. They'll pay them. They'll raise them there, teach them. They'll train them. It's like I don't want to call it personal development, player development.
Player development camps. Yes.
Player development camps, right? Yeah. So to make a long story short, Juan Soto.
So wait, you said you knew him at 16 when he signed the contract with the player
Not
development?
when he first signed the contract.
Okay.
When he first bought the home right next to my grandmother. If it makes sense.
Yeah.
He was probably 19.
Okay.
18, if it makes sense.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, because remember, it was in stages.
Yes.
They give you 200,000. I know his brother too.
200,000 US dollars?
US dollars.
Wow.
Yeah. So, matter of fact, I got 3 daughters, right? 3 different baby mama, right? My last baby mama, her brother, he was signed in a camp too.
Okay.
If it makes sense.
Yes.
So in Dominican Republic, bro, it's crazy how we love basketball. And Dominican Republic, I know so many baseball players, it's not even funny. Yeah. I know a lot of baseball players, right? But in reality, I love basketball. Right. Baseball players, it's just, you get me? Just like I know most of the artists, the rappers, artists from Dominican Republic, right. I got their contact.
Right.
You got me? President from Dominican Republic, I got videos with the president type of thing as well. I've been blessed. Your network is your net worth.
Yes.
I've been blessed to be always in the right rooms at the right time with the right people, if it makes sense.
Yes.
Because I'm very selective with my people. I practice OQP. But to make a long story short, Juan Soto, his mother, his father, his sister, his brother, his grandfather, right? So this is my grandmother's house, right? Right next to it. I'm talking about right next to it. And they used to go to church together too with my grandmother. My grandmother's close. When I say close on a different level with his family.
Well, they're neighbors, right?
Yes. But you know who I got close? With his father.
Okay.
If it makes sense. And then he also used to play outside the house, right? But they used to play with a
stick
with
and
a
the
stick,
cap and the bottle cap?
From the bottle. They were not playing. Well, they have the bats, but they were playing, you get me, to get their batting on a different level.
Yes, the hand-eye coordination.
So, making a long story short, I travel to Dominican Republic every week. I haven't been traveling. So, I used to make sure I used to stay by my grandma's house. As I used to leave every Sunday. I'll get to Dominican Republic by 11:30, 12, right? The first place I'll go to Mr. Grill. They'll bring me one of my cars because I have a car rental there too. They'll bring me an exotic car from there. Boom. I'll eat something. I got to get a daily haircut. They'll cut my hair. Mr. Grill it's like a barber shop, everything. And the barber shop, that's Drake follows Santana's barbershop. That's the most famous barbershop in Dominican Republic. They have them all over. They even opened one here in New York.
Okay.
So these barbershops, the girls dance. I don't know if it makes sense.
I think I've seen the video on it.
Right?
Yeah.
So Drake follows him.
Yeah.
Right? But to not get off topic, Juan Soto, I was able to talk to him multiple times, his brother multiple times. You get me? I was able to connect with everybody. Like, it was literally like if I saw him a lot, bro. Like, a lot.
Yes.
If it makes sense.
Yes.
But to make a long story short, he's a regular person just like me and you. Like anybody else.
So, his contract, $765 million, 15 million, 15 years, is the biggest contract ever signed in the MLB. And, you know, a lot of people, they think that athletes are overpaid, right? But to me, you get paid for the direct proportion to the problem that you solve, right?
Yes.
So what problem is it that athletes are solving that allows them to get paid so much?
Excellent question. First of all, an athlete, and look, I didn't prepare for this episode,
Okay.
but to me, it's common sense. You're gonna get paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of the problem you solve. You're entertaining,
Yes.
right? So
It's an
you're
entertainment.
here attracting a crowd, you're attracting a fan base, right? You're filling up arenas, so why not get paid, right?
Yes.
You get paid in direct proportion to the difficulties of the problems you solve. The problem they're solving is they're attracting the people. They're getting a bunch of people. The owner created a garden so the butterflies could come. So now the owner needs to have systems and process, but the owner needs to also have people to run the systems and process.
Right.
So the systems and process are there, right? But now the people are the talents. Without the talents, the systems and process do not work.
Right.
Right? So this is where the owner needs coaches also. He doesn't only need the players playing in the game. He also needs coaches and player development and other people that also keep the players, you know, in their top overall performance so they could keep attracting people. Because the minute they attract a fan, they're going to be able to sell jerseys. They're going to be able to sell the tickets. They're going to be able to sell food, alcohol, a billion different things.
Absolutely.
Sponsorships, you know?
Yeah, just so we have it for the record, the average, well, last year, the MLB made $11.6 billion as a league, and the average revenue per team was about $400 million. So obviously that team is making, let's say, $400 million. That's what allows them to go ahead and pay a Juan Soto roughly, what,
$51 million a year.
Yes. So he's more than 10% of their payroll.
Yeah.
10% of their income.
But
revenue.
understand,
He brings in way more.
bro, his performance,
Yes.
he was able to hit a home run in every arena.
Yes.
You get me?
Yes.
That's why when you know your worth as a player, believe it or not, because I remember that time, his contract was been negotiating all these years.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Like, I had these conversations with his father, and I'm like, hey, in my case, I know my worth. I would never let, obviously, nobody tell me how much I'm worth. But in their case, obviously, you got to know your worth, but you also got to be realistic. I remember when his contract, they were trying to give him 300 something. And I told them,
For how many years?
I forgot for how many years, but I told them, oh, you're worth more.
So do you think the contract he just signed, he was overpaid or underpaid?
Straight up,
Straight up.
underpaid.
Okay.
Underpaid, but it all depends who you ask.
Right.
Because you're asking me from an owner's perspective.
Yes.
I look at life from a different point of view.
Okay.
Understand, if I'm going to give you $765 million, let's put it simple numbers. If I'm going to give you $500 million, that means that you're going to bring me minimum
$1 billion.
1.5.
Yes, yes.
Whatever, understand something. When an employer hires an employee, a lot of people think that the employee is the one that's supposed to be thankful. The employer
Should be
the one. Because when we hire somebody, we're looking at how much money are they going to make us.
Absolutely.
We're not looking at it, how much we're going to pay you.
Absolutely.
We could care less how much I'm going to pay you. I like looking at ROI, the return on investment that I'm making. How much am I going to make back?
And for perspective, the average MLB team makes about 400, but the top producing team, who do you think that is?
It got to be obviously whoever's winning the championship, the Yankees.
The Yankees, right?
Because they have the most people.
The
and everything.
Yankees, about 700 million.
But you saw how I made it up?
Right, exactly.
You know who also invested in the Yankees?
Who else?
Patrick Bet-David.
Yes, he did. He owns a small percentage of their company.
But it's better to own a percentage
Right.
of something big, then
So now I would bet that last year the Mets were closer to that 400 million number. But now
they're in New York.
But now with Juan Soto, I bet you they're closer to the Yankees.
Yes,
Because of
yes.
all the attention that bringing him in, and that's why Steve Cohen, the owner, went ahead and paid that contract, because not only does it elevate the team, it elevates the whole organization.
Yes.
Right? And it
Now the
elevates
franchise,
the bottom line. The
goes
franchise is
wide.
going to be more valuable. So also, the average MLB team is worth about $2.6 billion. The Yankees, again, is the top team at $7.93 billion. And then,
Steve Cohen, he bought it for $2.5 billion.
so what do you, it's probably worth, I would say, at least probably $4 billion right now. So
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be worth $4 billion.
The top five right now, the Yankees at number 1, $7.93 billion. Dodgers number 2, $6.3 billion. Red Sox number 3, $5.2 billion. Chicago Cubs, $4.6 billion. And number 5, San Francisco Giants at $4.4 billion.
I'm going to say this on video, and sorry to cut you off. I see not just myself, us in this organization owning a team.
I would, yes.
Bro,
yes.
Bro, how I see money, how I see money,
Yeah.
there's nothing impossible.
Yeah.
Whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Bro, I know for a fact, because at the end of the day, they buy these teams raising capital.
Yes, they do.
Private equity.
Yeah.
You got me?
And like, I think, especially with deals like this, let's say for right now, let's say you wanted to buy the Mets, it'd probably cost you about $6 billion, right? And even if they could say,
No.
What do you think?
He bought it for 2.5.
Right.
By the end of the time when the contract is over, it should be worth $4 billion, $5 billion, right?
Okay.
Right? So if we want to buy the Mets right now, he'll sell it. He wouldn't even sell it because he now has an emotional attachment probably to it. Unless he's looking at it overall from a business perspective.
That's why I
right?
said $6 billion for him to even think about selling it, right?
Yeah.
Just even think about it.
For the right price, everything has a price.
Exactly,
right?
yes.
But it all depends who you ask, because sometimes, look at it, the Mark Cuban of the world. They did it for the passion.
Yes.
Right? But then Jordan, you got me? He did it also for the passion, but also then when you don't understand the mindset behind the players and you already approach the game from a different mindset, it's going to rub you a wrong way.
Yeah.
It's going to pretty much turn you off.
So speaking of Jordan, so I think he bought the Charlotte Hornets for about $200 million when he bought the team, like whatever, 15 years ago.
Got to be worth in billions on it.
He sold it for like $2.5 billion. So he was able to 10x his investment in about 10, 15 years, which is great, right? That's a great investment.
Yes.
So I think that's where a lot of these billionaires buy teams, because there's not a lot of investments at that level where you can put, 200 million and 10x it, right? Unless you're like a business, right? You could do that in business. But as far as sports teams, and it gets you notoriety. So not only did he, 10x his initial investment, he's making money every year from those teams as well. Like sports teams, as you see, they make pretty good revenue every year. And as long as they're getting a return on their investment, that's why even like a Patrick Bet-David, he's like, yeah, give me a percentage of the Yankees, because he's still making a good amount off of whatever percentage he has.
And that also puts us, as a businessman, it puts him in a different bracket.
Exactly.
Because now he used that as leverage, as a marketing tool. I'm one of the business partners in the Yankees. Because they're not going to basically let just anybody.
They vet, right, exactly. Now he's done it. Guess what? He's a part of the network.
Yes.
Right? So now he's just expanded his network.
They don't understand that the same, he'll go invest $50 million,
right?
And the same organization, he'll raise $500 million.
Exactly.
You got it?
Exactly.
But it takes a different mindset to understand this.
Yes.
That's why you got big risk, big rewards.
And I was watching his podcast the other day. He talked about how he invested in the Yankees, and he said, they have a very thorough vetting process. They don't let just anybody own the Yankees. But now, since he's already gone through that vetting process, and he is, part of the Yankees, he can now go buy another team, and guess what? He's now going to be at the top of the list because he's already been vetted. So his dream or his goal is probably going to be to buy a full team, or have not a full team, but a majority ownership in a team, because a lot of these franchises, no one owns 100% of the team. Like you said, they raise capital and they'll give a percentage of the team, and you might own 51% or 60%, and then you have your other.
The thing is, wealthy people, you never want to own things 100%, because when you own 100% of something, you got to do 100% of the work.
Exactly.
You want to do things in a way where, okay, you're taking calculated risk, but you're also doing it with other people, and it's more fun when you do it with other people.
Right.
I don't know if it makes sense.
All right, so let's break it down now. So you said that he's underpaid. So if you were in Juan Soto's shoes, how would you have negotiated that contract?
First of all,
what would you have asked for?
First of all, I'll go for the equity, bro. You got me? Because this is how I look at the world. You got me? The minute you're already in the league, you're gonna have the exposure. Exposure is attention.
Right.
And where attention flows, money follows.
Absolutely.
Right? So the minute you get in the league, put it like this. After taxes, okay, he's gonna get $51 million a year. But that $51 million is not even the owner that's gonna pay him. It's the fan. It's literally his same effort is the one that's gonna pay him.
Yes.
So people, they don't understand how things work. Just because they're here saying, oh, this person got a $1 billion contract. Yo, 15 years, I'm worth $20 billion right now.
Right.
Right now, minimum $20 billion. Pound to pound. Sam, I know I'm worth $20 billion. $20 billion. I'm not worth $20 billion right now in paper.
Right.
But mindset, bro, I could print money, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, I could print money. And I have proof that I even brought that awareness to Juan Soto's father and his grandfather and different people from his family that he was underpaid.
So that's why I asked you that question, because I knew you would ask for equity, right? That's from a business perspective, you always want equity, right? You want skin in the game. You want to be able to be a part of the upside, right? You don't want to just be paid a salary, because at the end of the day, he's getting paid a salary. He's an employee. He's not an actual owner of the team. So that brings me to my next point. So in baseball, right now, it's currently not allowed for a player to be active and have equity in a team, right?
You see?
Go ahead.
It depends. I'm a trendsetter.
Right.
I love breaking the rules.
Yeah.
You got me? For Carlos, the rules will be broken. Trust me on that. Trust me, not 100% or a quadrillion percent, it would have been broken. Because the first thing that I would have had on the contract, equity. Right. One word. So, I'll literally take my thing, I'll say equity. And I'll look at them in the thing. Because man lie, woman lie, numbers don't lie. I'm going to bring the numbers. As a matter of fact, do not pay me. Do not pay me. I'm going to keep proving it.
So let me give you a little example of how that it could look, right? Everyone knows David Beckham, right? 2007, he left, I think, the Premier League that he was playing in, and he came to the MLS, which is basically a brand new soccer league in the U.S. at that time. The way he negotiated his contract is how you would have negotiated it. They wanted to pay him $6 million a year, which they did, but he did two very smart things with his contract. He said, all right, I'll take the $6 million a year, but I want to be a part of all merchandise sales, all media sales. I want to be a part of anything that the team makes. I want to be able to also be made a part of as far as income. So he got $6 million a year as his salary, but he also got tickets proceeds, merchandise proceeds, and that $6 million over those 5 years actually turned out to be $250 million from what the team was able to produce as far as income. The second thing he did was, because I think the MLS had a similar situation where you're not allowed to have ownership of the team while you were a player. So what he did is he put a clause in his contract that says, once I retire, you guys will allow me to buy one of the expansion teams. At the time, I think it was probably only like 8 or 10 teams in the league, but you guys are going to allow me to buy an expansion team at $25 million, right? So he negotiated that in his contract, and he was able to do that. And when he retired, I think he actually got one of the first teams, it might have even been either LA Galaxy or Miami, but he got it for $25 million. Those teams now are selling to buy a team, like $300 million. So he 10x'd his money there, also made $250 million by being in the league. And now I think overall, him playing from the league, that deal, he's up like $900 million from doing that deal like that.
Equity's the name of the game.
Yes.
I've done episodes talking about equity's the name of the game before. To me, I wouldn't be in the level I'm in if it wouldn't be because I was getting equity. Right. I would use also real estate, right? Because, okay, we're talking about Juan Soto's contract, but everything, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Normally, real estate investors that buy and hold, they don't look at the business perspective of overall, right? So I put myself as the landlord, but I also put myself as the business owner.
Partner.
Yes. So
with the tenant.
So when the tenant is gonna rent from me, I want a percentage of the business.
Right.
So I want equity.
And what you'll do is, because this is a smart business, you're gonna get equity, but then you're
gonna get rent.
You're gonna get rent, but then you also give them a discounted rent so they're more likely to succeed and grow the business, which grows your equity stake and brings you more money
And
back.
straight up, sometimes it don't even got to be a discount. Sometimes you jack up the rent.
Jack up the rent.
Hey, let's say you want to charge, let's say $3,000. Right? But you say, hey, it's $5,000, but I'm gonna charge you $3,500.
Exactly.
You still making more than what you think,
money.
but I want 10% of the business.
Exactly.
Or you tell them, before I tell you the thing, the thing is you gotta get in people's mind first.
Yeah. What do they
want? What are you planning to do here?
Yeah.
Right? What type of business? So it gotta be aligned with the vision overall. Because if I know somebody's gonna rent from me and they're not gonna be successful, why would I rent from them?
Exactly.
You got me? So I'll pick up the brain, ask a billion questions, but 1, 2, 3 questions, I'll pick up the brain, measure the man right away, or woman. But I always get equity. And then I explain to them why you want me as a partner. Because then if you don't have, the rent, they got the thing, it makes sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
So.
Makes a lot of sense. And then, I think I like what you said about, when the player, as soon as they get into the league, they now get to trade attention, right? So what attention now also allows the player to do is, all right, you're going to pay me $50 million a year, but that doesn't stop them also from now
generating more income.
Generating more income through endorsements and deals. And real quick, let me go over the top 10 endorsements for 2024. The number one player, can you guess who the number one person is for endorsements this year?
You talking about for
overall in the world?
In the world?
Yeah.
It got to be Juan Soto.
No, not endorsements. Endorsements, not their contracts, like what they get from sponsorships.
You talking about like Nike, okay, Adidas, things like that?
Yeah. Commercials, Coke, Pepsi, all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you think it is?
Nah, tell me.
LeBron James.
Oh, you're talking about players.
Yeah,
okay,
players.
oh yeah.
So number one is LeBron James. He makes about $80 million a year of endorsements. Number two, Lionel Messi, $70 million. Number three, I'm surprised, Giannis Antetokounmpo, $65 million. Number four, Cristiano Ronaldo, $60 million. Number five, Steph Curry, $50 million. Number six, Kevin Durant, $45 million. Number seven, Rory McIlroy, plays golf, $45 million. Number eight, Mbappe, $20 million. Nine, Neymar, $28 million. And then Coco Gauff.
I don't know who's Coco.
She plays tennis, $21 million. I had no idea that she makes that much off of endorsements. But that just goes to your point where we're at a point now where the attention is actually more important. And the currency of
attention is a currency.
Attention is a currency. And, I think the new model, what you see what all these celebrities doing is they take all their attention that they're receiving, all their views and all their people who are really watching them, and then they have a brand, right? And then now they attach it to a product, right?
Yes.
Right. You see it with, I think, what's his name? The Rock has Terramana. He sells alcohol. Colin, what's his name? Not Colin. McGregor, right?
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor. He has another spirit. So what these athletes or entertainers are now doing is they're trading attention. They're using their brand currency to now launch a product, and then now that's even taking their wealth to a whole nother level. They make more off of those than anything they do in a movie or in a game or anything like that. And that's actually really how they're, that's the new model for really growing your wealth is through your brand, right? Creating your personal brand and then using that currency of attention to, elevate yourself and elevate your brand. So I think, you really nailed it. And I think, this conversation as far as athletes, how much they're getting paid and if they're underpaid is as long as people want to watch, they're gonna keep making this type of money.
This is the thing when it comes to, because this is not the athletes that are being underpaid. You got me? Because it's all perspective. It all depends on your performance.
Yes.
You got me? Most people, they don't know their value.
Right.
Right? But I do understand why most people don't understand their value.
Why is that?
They haven't done their inner work. Because when an athlete sees the world just from an athlete perspective, obviously they're gonna what?
They're going to...
They're not gonna see the business side of it, right? That's why they gotta get the Scott Boros, you got me, the agents,
to
you got me,
to
represent, right? Because they already know the business, they know the game, they already have the network, right? They already have all the relationships with all the teams. I don't know if it makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Right? So the Scott Boras, they already, preparing these players. They give them the contract before. So understand, these people buy the people before. And then they sell the people to the league.
Got it.
So they prepare the people. They prepare the talent. And then they present the talent. So Scott, they'll bring them, they'll tell them, okay, okay, look, I got 20 guys, but I got 100 guys, right? But those 100 guys, he already invested a year in the camp, $2.5 million, paying all those guys.
Yes.
So that came from his pocket.
Yes.
Right? So now out of those 100 guys, 80-20. 20 guys will come out good.
Yes.
But now out of those 20, 4 of them will come out good.
Yes.
And out of those 4, 1 will be elite.
One will be a
right?
Juan Soto. Yes.
So that 1 will be a Juan Soto.
Yes.
So that's the thing.
Yeah.
Right? So for example, Elian Soto, he signed. That's Juan Soto's brother.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it's the same thing. And the thing is, remember, once you're already attached, if you're Juan Soto, and of course your brother's gonna have a higher chance than a regular Joe Smoke.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
My daughter's uncle, my youngest daughter, I told you, he was signed. Well, he fucked that up. My cousin, Alvaro Paulino, he was signed. The one that has business. He was signed. He messed up his back. So making a long story short, going with the 80-20 rule, Juan Soto now is presented. They'll bring him to the U.S., right? Because they'll do the a visa, work contract, work ta. So they'll take him to, for example, to Miami or to one of the teams, right? Hey, try it out. Now they start making headlines. Hey, this guy's a new prospect. They start hyping the person, but they'll put him to play to prove
that he could
do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Bronny, they'll put him, to play with the NBA people to see if he's really about it. You got me?
Yeah.
Now if he's able to perform,
now he gets the contract.
It's a different level.
Yes.
Now if you're able to outperform, that's a different level.
Yeah.
If you're able to stand out, bro, right now you could ask whatever the fuck you want to ask.
Yeah.
Right? What do you want? Because now what do you want?
They're going to give you whatever you want.
You got me?
Yeah.
Because now you know your worth.
So I think, in the future, these contracts, again, the reason why in the MLB he wasn't allowed to, because they have what's called the CBA, a collective bargaining agreement, where it's stated in the bargaining agreement that players can't basically, get equity in a team. But I think eventually at some point that's going to change, because there's going to be an athlete who signs $1 billion contract, right? And the team is going to be like, well, how do we pay them, right? But they're going to pay them based on their future success. So the only way that you're going to be able to do that is by giving equity, right? Because they're not going to be able to make enough on an annual basis to pay them. But if they say, hey, you know what? We'll give you 2% of the team, 5% of the team, and that's how we're going to pay you. I think some players who are really, forward thinking and business thinking, they're going to ask for those types of things. And like you said, they may say, you don't pay me anything, right? Don't pay me anything.
Remember,
but give me equity.
There's already algorithms that determines players' worth.
Yeah.
You got me? Calculated, right? Based obviously on the team's profit.
Yeah.
Right? And once they break down those numbers, once you already know how much the team makes per year, you're already gonna say, okay, I'm gonna have this budget for the players.
Yes.
But obviously, I cannot just give all the money to one player.
Right.
I gotta divide, because it's a team sport, right? It's not a one-person sport. But one person could bring more people than everybody else.
Yes.
A lot of the people are placements.
Yes.
It's like the NBA. In the NBA, I don't watch basketball, I don't watch MLB, I don't watch sports, but the players that are known, they're the most known. And most players are not even known.
So the NFL is the most profitable league, right? They average
I didn't even know that.
They make $20 billion a year. MLB is about $11 billion, and basketball is about $11 billion.
You want to hear the funny thing?
Go ahead.
My business partner, Alex, one of his main partners is an NFL player.
Wow, okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So the average NFL team, I think, roughly cost about
I didn't even know that.
$6.5 billion for basketball. Again, they make about $11 billion a year. The average NBA team costs about $4.4 billion. The highest valued basketball team is the Golden State Warriors at $8.8 billion. But you know why? Steph Curry, right? Steph Curry brings that value. The next is the New York Knicks at $7.5 billion. The reason why they're so valuable is because they're in New York City, Madison Square Garden. It all gets packaged together. That's part of their valuation. The number 3 team, Los Angeles Lakers. They're in LA. They have LeBron, $7.1 billion. And the number 4 is the Celtics at $6 billion, and the Los Angeles Clippers at $5.5 billion. So, these teams, they generate so much money, and that's how they're able to play these players. And like I said, I do think at some point there will be a player who says, I want equity to play for your team. And, once it's collectively bargained that it's allowed, you'll see that, I think, going on in the future.
They have ride or die type of fans. Most people are drifting through sports, escaping reality through sports. You got me? There's a lot of people, you know, that probably don't even play sport, but they know all the stats, all the players, how much the money they're making. As a matter of fact, they don't even know how much money they're making, most people. They know other stats.
And then
how many points the LeBron dropped, I don't care.
I think also the reason why football is so valuable now is with the fantasy football leagues and the betting.
Oh,
there's people who don't really watch football, but they'll bet on football all day.
I was gonna say, yeah, because I'm not.
They
I
have
never
the fantasy footballs and things like that. So, I think the NFL has probably like the biggest, gambling fan base out of all the sports
Black
teams.
people.
Right.
Straight up.
Yeah, and then it's how they make their money, and as long as there's people willing to watch, those players will continue to be able to get those contracts. So it is time for us to wrap it up. And is there anything that you wanted to share before we wrap it up?
Man, you gotta understand, world. If you don't invest on yourself mentally, on your mindset, you could literally be underpaid. It could be as an athlete, or it could be as an employee, or even as a businessman, or as an investor. When I go, I'm here doing a deal. You got me? I focus on getting equity.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at things long term. I'm looking at every angle. It's not that I'm here trying to be greedy, but I don't want that instant gratification, right? I want to take the risk overall, and equity is the name of the game.
Yeah.
So if Juan would have literally, Scott Boras, if they would have negotiated, trillion%, somebody could have influenced the whole league and everything. Could have taken the extra mile to bring the first player. He's the first player to get the biggest contract, right?
Yeah, $765
He could have been
million.
also the first player, not simply to get the biggest contract, but also to get equity from the team. You got me?
It'll happen. I think it's just a matter of time and where it's collectively bargained.
Because they did negotiate the contract, after 5 years, if he does,
He can opt out?
So he'll be able to go to $55 million.
Okay, all right.
Well, that's not, bro, nah. Because either way, inflation and all that, come on, man. Yeah. That's like a pay raise.
Yeah, basically.
All
right. Well, Carlos, thanks for joining us today. And, tune in, guys. If you like this type of content, please share in the comments. Let us know. Your feedback is valued. Again, I'm Sam Marekasima. I'm your host. Thank you for watching Capital Gains, and we will see you guys next time.